Hey guys, it's me, Pokemon Jammer HD, and today we have week 6 of MLP, and we are facing Arch and the Georgia Granbulls, where our team is still unchanged, and it is still Dankforce Landorus, Z, Manaphy, Entei, Cobalion, Uxie, Venomoth, Z, Sharpedo, Stunfisk, Drampa, Mega DNC, and Tangela, where my opponent's team this week is Weavile, Slowbro, Mega Manectric, Z Nidoking, Ferrothorn, Z Chandelure, DNC, Hitmonlee, Chansey, Scyther, and Weedle. So, obviously, Chansey, means special attackers are going to be a lot harder to have success, which my team at least has a good amount of special attackers that I like to set up with, such as Manaphy and Venomoth, and then usually Mega DNC is ran specially offensive just because of the coverage, but this week obviously I can't do that with Chansey being there. And then Slowbro's typing is just pretty good against most of my physical offense, so I'm not thrilled with how that looks. And then at least for the sake of, I don't really have something that beats both very comfortably, so that's something I need to definitely try to work my way around. And then Nidoking's coverage is just really good. That's so offensively that can be an issue. And that's, at least to me, it seems like the biggest threats, and then Chandelure can be an issue to a good chunk of my team, and then obviously Weavile definitely threatens the most broken thing on my team, being the Dankforce Landorus. So with those things in mind, we'll get into the team starting with here Entei with Choice Banded with Sacred Fire, Extreme Speed, Bulldoze, Toxic, and enough speed to outspeed Timid Nidoking. Pretty self-explanatory in that I gotta hit most of the team with Fire move, and then the things that resist fire being with the DNC and the Chandelure get hit with Bulldoze, and then Toxic for the Slowbro, since can't really do damage to Slowbro if I'm fully physical. The next up we have Uxie here with Light Clay, Reflect, Light Screen, Stealth Rock, and U-Turn, which I know I'm definitely breaking screens way too much, but I didn't really know what to run, so that just seems to be the default. And especially defensive, since the things that are the most threatening in my mind are the special attackers to my team, and at least the main physical attacker that could be problematic to this is Weavile, which I don't really want to get knocked off because of Light Clay. So just especially defensive should let it take plenty of hits and hopefully set up those screens. Then next up we have Waterium Z Manaphy with Scald, Hidden Power Fire, and Knock Off Tail Glow, with enough investment in special attack to hopefully Z KO Z move the Chansey after I knock off the Eviolite while I'm +3 from a Tail Glow, which does not sound very easy, but that's a situation that I could see definitely happening, since Chansey is going to be a switch into Manaphy, so it'll give me a chance to get the Eviolite off and make it easier for everything else to knock it out too, in case I don't with Manaphy. And it's enough speed to outspeed a Jolly Hitmonlee. Then next we have Cobalion with enough speed to outspeed Jolly Scyther, with Choppleberry, Close Combat, Ironhead, Stone Edge, Toxic, and Choppleberry, so that I can take a low kick from Weavile, and potentially a Mach Punch or Brick Break if I have to switch into, you know, Scyther, just anything. But I mean, primarily it's Weavile. Like Manaphy can switch into Weavile, but since Knock Off is not going to do much with the Z Crystal, but this is my preferred switch in, and so Toxic to bait, you know, since Slowbro seems to be the obvious switch in, and then the Stone Edge hits the Scyther and the Chandelier, while the other moves, you know, the Dual Stab doesn't hit them really well. Then next up we have Vortex, Mega Diancie with Moonblast, Diamond Storm, Earth Power, and Hidden Power Fire. So the attack investment, I don't think it always does, but it has a good chance to 2-hit KO Chansey after rocks with Diamond Storm, and as well 2-hit KO Slowbro with Moonblast. So I figured that was, you know, mixed was clearly the best, but then I needed some investment in both to make sure it could get those KOs and enough speed to outspeed the Jolly Scyther. Then lastly we have Drampa, so fully specially defensive with Berserk, because I don't really care about Fairthorn, so I don't need Zap Zipper. And Flamethrower Surf just hits everything on the team for the most part, other than what, like Slowbro, but I mean, I would hopefully Toxic that. And then, so I mean, it's more for offensive, you know, mons anyway, but Toxic is just in case I'm sitting there like with Chansey or Slowbro in front of me, so. But Flamethrower and Surf covers all the offensive mons really, so that's, you know, solid coverage to hopefully, especially take hits from Chandelier being the biggest threat that it's covering for. But then maybe it could help me with Nidoking, since it shouldn't die to, you know, an Ice Beam, and Surf would do a lot back, as well as if I'm in Berserk, then +1 special attack, so that should definitely be helpful. And then Flamethrower just covers so much of the team that nothing can really switch in freely. And then also this helps with Mega Manectric, which I don't think is a huge deal against my team, but the team I'm bringing isn't great against Mega Manectric, so Drampa's super important. But yeah, that's the team. His special attackers could overwhelm me for sure, but hopefully Light Screen mitigates that, and Phil right here can help lead us to victory. So I'll be right back with Team Preview. And we are back with Team Preview, where my opponent has brought the Mega Manectric, Chansey, Slowbro, Weavile, Nidoking, and Chandelure. So definitely some threatening things that I pointed out in the team builder. And I'm going to lead off with Uxie, since I can get rocks up with no hazard removal on my opponent's side of the field, and the only things really warranting me switching would be the Weavile, which I have a couple switch-ins to, and then the Chandelure, which I have a switch-in to as well, so I feel pretty comfortable just trying to get my rocks up, while my opponent leads off with the Manectric, which is going to Mega Evolve and go for the Thunderbolt, which does a good chunk while I get my rocks up. So then, my best switch in obviously is my Drampa here, and he goes for the T-Bolt again, which actually gets the Paralysis, which, you know, Paralysis sucks, but also now I can't be Toxic, so that's actually so it's, you know, as long as I'm making my moves, it's good. And so he goes for the Volt Switch to get out of there, as I just roost up to get to, you know, full health, and he goes for rocks as I switch into my Cobalion, and since I know Slowbro is definitely coming in, I'm going to go for the Toxic immediately. So that's great that now I can wear down this Slowbro, since my team doesn't honestly deal with it very well. So that'll be crucial, and goes for the Scald as I switch into my Drampa, since it's designed to basically take on every single special attacker, with maybe the exception of, you know, Nidoking. So I go into Drampa. I just go for the Toxic, since I'm expecting the Chansey to come in, because I don't see him wanting to risk me going for like a Draco, a T-Ball, or Hyper Voices. Then he'll go for the Soft Boiled, and I get fully paralyzed, which, doesn't really make that much of a difference since I was going to do negligible damage with a Flamethrower anyway. Because then I get parried again on this Seismic Toss, so now I definitely, would not like to get parried, a lot, but Seismic Toss is only doing 28%, so I can roost up and be at full health while also now I'm +1 special attack thanks to Berserk. So goes for the Soft Boiled as I just Flamethrower, so he finally sees that I have Flamethrower, and Toxic damage is racking up, so that's really nice that now the Chansey's going out at 53%, so that's good. And I just keep on clicking Flamethrower, and this actually does like half to Manectric, which is great, so it doesn't just keep Volt Switching all over me. Then decides to Volt Switch as I'm just gonna keep spamming Flamethrower since he isn't bringing anything that actually like threatens me. So I mean, I have a lot of PP on Flamethrower and Surf, so it's not a big deal. I can just keep attacking what's in front of me. So now Chansey comes in as I'm just gonna go for the Toxic, but he's gonna Soft Boiled up to get up to a better amount of health, since Natural Cure can allow it to keep on coming in and out, so he's gonna utilize that, switch out to Chandelure that I've been pretty much trying to bait out at this point with Flamethrowers, as he's actually not Flash Fire, but this turns bad. So he goes for the Trick as I go for Surf, and that's a big problem now, is, my specially defensive Pokemon that he was having such a problem beating is now very beatable. I'm Scarfed, obviously I was a Slowmon in the first place, but I'm paralyzed, so now I can't roost up at free will, and now this actually is almost dead weight because it doesn't have much offensive pressure. So that's really unfortunate. I'm now a lot weaker to, Manectric, to Nidoking, and Slowbro, so that's definitely not good, and I wish I had thought of the trick, but at the time I was like, hey, let's Flamethrower bait in the Chandelure so he doesn't know I have Surf, so I can, KO it back. But good play on Arch's part for sure to get that trick, so now my Grandpa is pretty crippled, as he goes into Chansey, doubles out into the Nidoking on my very obvious Cobalion. So then now I switch back into Grandpa because it's not really that useful, as he goes for Earth Power. It does a good chunk, and so he's gonna switch out as I just throw off a Surf. Or actually, no, I don't throw off a Surf. I'm smarter than that, apparently. I go into the Uxie and set up a Reflect in case the Weavile is gonna come in anytime, or then also set up Light Screen as I get Toxic. Then I can just U-turn out into Cobalion, since Chansey can't really do a whole lot, so goes for the Seismic Toss, and now I know the Slowbro is coming in, so I'm gonna go straight into Manaphy, as the Slowbro does indeed come in, and this gives me the option to Knock Off or Tail Glow. I'm gonna go for Tail Glow first, as he goes for Toxic. So right here I see that obviously I'm running Hidden Power Fire, so, and Scald, but I could have the Energy Ball, he has no idea, so here I'm pretty sure he's gonna switch out to Chansey, but even if he doesn't, I'm going for Knock Off just to get rid of an item, but especially hoping that Chansey comes in. And so Chansey does indeed come in. Get the knockoff off. He's at 65%, which, based off my calc off of a normal Chansey, Waterium Z boosted Scald should KO from here. It's, I think, literally a mineral is the absolute mineral is the only way it doesn't kill a standard Chansey. So I'm just gonna throw off the Z, and it doesn't kill, which I find out, it's the Chansey is actually SPDF invested, not just the max HP, max defense. So I have to switch out into Cobalion as he's just soft boiling up, which also, looking back at that play, if I had just tailglowed again, since I couldn't die to a Seismic Toss plus Toxic damage, I guaranteed got a kill with the Waterium Z, so that was a mistake on my part for sure. Assuming too much of the Chansey set, and I'll talk about more about that set of plays later on, but Cobalion, I'm gonna go for close combat. I'm just hoping, so many times I keep doubling, so I'm hoping that the Chansey stays in, but at this point, it's really not looking good, even though it's 6-5. I'm not able to break through the fat, and he actually makes the play going into Weavile on my Drampa switch in, so then gets a kill with Knock Off, and now I can go into Cobalion, but that is going to bring in Slowbro, and this time I don't predict it, since I don't have a great switch, at least predict it in a, really meaningful way, because I'm going into Uxie on my, knowing that Slowbro is coming in, which just lets me get up screens before I die, which, if I get up the light screen first, then I can also get up the Reflect before dying to Toxic, so that is what I'm going to do, as he went for the Scald in the last turn, and then he's just going to slack off since he knows I'm just going to die. So now I have screens, so I'm not going to take too much damage, but at this point the biggest issue is really the fat stuff, so I'm going to Mega up and go for the Moonblast, hoping he would stay in, but smart and goes into Chansey, as then I go for Diamond Storm, and this doesn't kill, unfortunately, and I take some damage, but now it's finally goes down, and it would have been nice to have that full health, but obviously he ran defense investment as well, so it was the mixed Chansey, but yeah, then Scarf Nidoking comes in, and I'm like, oh shit, I just lose. I think this is the only thing that takes a hit, so just to try to save differential here, I'm gonna go for the Knock Off in case he wants to stay in, and I can get rid of the Scarf. That's really the only way I can win, but I mean, either way, Knock Off just helps me, in a Hail Mary, but, realistically, it's gonna help me get differential, because now leftovers are gone from Slowbro. So honestly, I'm just gonna Iron Head it, because I'm just trying to flinch it. I literally don't have any better play at this point. The game is over, but the only way I can actually, win is Banded Entei with E-Speed, so trying to get this in range of that. It's at 30%, so it's not actually in range, but I can go into Manaphy, go for Scald, put some pressure on this Slowbro, and he actually slacks off, but then Toxic damage is doing so much, so I can just keep clicking Scald, just trying to fish for a kill, or, burn on an incoming switch, and so Toxic does leave me at 1 HP, so I can keep going for Scald, and I do get the kill on Electric, so that's really nice, to at least, now it's 3, so hopefully I can keep this, if I can pick off one more thing, because the Weavile is Life Orb, and he goes into Slowbro, so it's at 50%. Nothing can take 2 E-Speed, so I can't switch out, so actually I do end up being able to get one more kill, because one Scald will not kill me, so now, no matter what, it becomes a 2-0, as I E-Speed, kill off the Slowbro, and he's just going to bring in the Nidoking to Earth Power me away, and that's a 2-0 loss, which, it was rough in that, obviously, Manaphy was meant to bait in the Chansey, and it didn't kill it, and I found out that it didn't kill it because it was 252, defense, 252, special defense bold, instead of being the normal thing that you'd see on the ladder, being the 252 HP, 252, defense bold, so since it had the extra special defense investment, it didn't do the damage I needed, which it was a roll for that Z move to kill, but it was a roll that was slightly in his favor anyway. And then because of that, defense investment, but not being as defensive as possible with HP and defense investment, but still having defense investment. End up living the Diamond Storm from DNC later, but I mean, in any case, I was gonna end up losing to the Nidoking at some point because Drampa kept me from losing to Nidoking, and getting that tricked definitely killed it. Like that was the worst. Like the parrot paralysis, while it sucked not being able to move a few times, as the game went on, it didn't seem to matter that much, other than it helped me more, just being not being able to be toxic. So actually at that point, I definitely needed to switch. Like I was just so in the mindset of surfing it and just getting rid of the Chandelure for the rest of the team, that I didn't think of the possibility of Trick, and that really screwed me over, since Scarf Nidoking absolutely decimated the team I brought, and Uxie, the one thing that it didn't really do much to, couldn't do anything back. So I definitely underprepared for Nidoking, and then as far as the play went, Drampa definitely became such an issue. And also I did not prep for Slowbro well at all, considering like nothing could beat it. But yeah, if a rematch comes, I mean, seeing how the Manaphy was played against, there is definitely a set that I could bring that would have just 6-0'd this game. But that's for a potential rematch. So thank you for watching. Hopefully we can come back from this, now that we are, I think we were 3-0 and now we're 3-3. Still have +3 differential, but that doesn't mean we're out of the playoff race by any means. So hopefully we can bounce back. Bye!